In the midst of the white ice where temperatures dropped to -40 degrees Fahrenheit, the ground beneath their feet suddenly shook. A long crack tore through the ice as if the ocean was trying to swallow everything above it. In that life and death moment, the viewer only had one question lingering in their mind. Why, in the 21st century, humans still pursue a giant creature in the most dangerous place on the planet? Greed, culture, or simply survival? The sea cow, an 800 to 1,200 pound mammal with a thick layer of fat to ward off the cold and enough strength to capsize a small boat with a single swing, is the target of this hunt. But don't let the gentle appearance fool you. One wrong approach and the whole team can disappear under the ice without anyone finding them. This is no game. This is the deadliest hunt in the polar region, where even a breath can cost you your life. The Discover: Why Hunters Pursue the 1,000-pound Sea Cow, the deadliest hunt on ice. The sea cow is one of the Arctic's most mysterious creatures, a marine mammal distantly related to manatees and dugongs, but incredibly large. Their average weight is around 800 to 1,000 pounds, with exceptionally large individuals reaching 1,200 or even 1,400 pounds. Their thick, scarred hides bear the marks of fierce clashes during mating season, revealing the true strength hidden behind their gentle appearance. They live almost entirely under thick ice, surfacing only every few minutes at tiny spiracles to take in oxygen, making them harder to spot than any other marine mammal. And it's the combination of massive size, dangerous strength, and habitat at the end of the world that has turned the sea cow hunt into a cultural icon and one of Arctic people's most extreme survival challenges. To reach the sea cow's range, the hunting party must travel 20 to 40 miles across thin sea ice by snowmobile or dog sled, a journey where every meter forward carries a risk of death. The ice can crack at any moment, and undertows under the cold black water can push a huge chunk of ice out to sea in minutes. The white-hot wind makes everything disappear before your eyes, and the minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit temperature makes any small mistake potentially life-threatening. In fact, up to 40% of accidents involving seal and marine mammal hunting in the Arctic occur when hunters fall into water under ice, which is so cold that it can paralyze the body in seconds. It is these compounding risks that make the journey to the sea cow hunting grounds known as the deadliest hunt on ice, a hunt where nature never allows humans to make mistakes. Sea cows only surface to breathe every 7 to 10 minutes. So to reach them, hunters must lie motionless for hours next to a tiny breathing hole in the minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit ice, holding a spear and pressing their ear to the surface to listen for every faint movement underwater. As the sea cow surfaced, the oil-black water suddenly opened and hot breath sprayed white smoke in the extreme cold, the only sign that the moment of attack had come. The hunter had just one golden second to throw his spear before the animal dived back and disappeared completely under the thick ice. As soon as it was hit, the giant sea cow immediately became angry, thrashing so hard that just one jerk was enough to pull an adult down the ice hole like a toy. A 4 to 5 inch layer of fat, the precious blubber of the polar regions, is separated to be used for fuel, cooking, and preserving food throughout the winter. Each piece of meat was loaded onto sleds, and the team had to drag them across 10 to 20 miles of cracked ice, where every step could be the last if the ice suddenly collapsed. The biggest difficulty was not the weight, but the constantly shifting ice beneath their feet, which threatened to cast the team adrift at sea, a situation the polar region rarely allowed anyone to return alive. For thousands of years, the sea cow hunt existed not out of greed, but because it met the most basic survival needs of humans in the Arctic. Its meat is rich in protein, enough to feed an entire family for weeks during the long winter. The thick layer of blubber is an important source of energy used for cooking, lighting, and preserving food, something no other fuel in the Arctic can replace. Sea cows' skin and bones are used extensively to make tools, small boats, shoes, bowstrings, and dozens of other essential items in daily life. This is not a hunt for profit, but a blend of tradition and harsh living conditions where people have to create their own opportunities to survive. And it is this balance between culture, need, and nature that helps us understand why the hunt continues to this day. The sea cow hunt has ended. The polar ice still has countless stories that humans must face to survive. Because in this land, sea cow is not the only giant creature that forces humans to risk their lives to approach. As the wind shifted and the ice sheets began to drift, the Inuit turned their attention to another opponent, bigger, stronger, and much more dangerous. A heavy creature approached 2,000 pounds, possessing long tusks and enough strength to push away a wooden boat. If sea cow is a hunt of patience and silence, then the next animal is a confrontation of strength and extreme vigilance. That is it. Walrus, the true giant of the Arctic. And the hunt for it, and the way indigenous communities rely on the animal to survive the winter, reveals a whole other story of survival on the edge of the world. Amidst the icy seas where Arctic winds howl like they tear the sky apart, man and nature face each other in a test of survival that has lasted for thousands of years. Here, there is a giant creature weighing up to 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, possessing tusks nearly a meter long and enough strength to push over a small boat. The Inuit called it by a name both respectful and wary, walrus. And the question is, in the 21st century, why does the hunt for this powerful animal continue to exist?
That's crazy.
The walrus is not a predator, but it is one of the largest and most dangerous animals in the polar region. Its hide is nearly 5 centimeters thick. More than 50% of its body weight is fat, and its tusks are as sharp as crowbars, all of which make it an opponent that even polar bears are afraid to confront. A full-grown walrus can weigh as much as a small car, and when enraged, it can shatter thin ice with a single blow. But what makes hunting more difficult isn't the walrus's strength. It's the environment it inhabits. To reach walrus habitat, Inuit hunters must trek dozens of miles across drifting ice, using dog sleds or snowmobiles. The ice can break at any moment, and under ice currents are powerful enough to push entire groups far from shore. In wind chills of minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, falling into the water means only one outcome: death within minutes. That's why this trip is considered one of the most dangerous journeys ever made by indigenous people. Walruses often gather in large herds of several dozen to several hundred, lying crowded on icebergs to rest, After many hours of diving deep into the sea to hunt for clams, they are extremely alert. Just a strange sound is enough to send the entire school into the sea in panic, creating waves large enough to throw an adult man off the ice. Approaching them requires complete silence and patience, sometimes taking hours. Traditional weapons were harpoons with buoys attached, or long spears with ropes. A successful throw had to be precise to reduce the risk of the animal plunging into the water and dragging the hunter down with it. Struck, the walrus often reacts violently. It thrashes, butts, and uses its tusks to dig into the ice surface to free itself. The struggle can last for minutes, and just one slip can drag the hunter into the cold black water. That's why it always takes multiple people to coordinate. One person holding the rope, one person watching, and one person preparing to assist. All must move on ice that is shaking under the weight of the fight.
Right there.
Right here.
With the walrus still, the hard part began. Handling a body larger than a bison, the Inuit could barely move the animal in its entirety and had to divide the meat on the spot. Walrus blubber, which once lit thousands of homes in the Arctic, was cut apart for fuel and food preservation. The meat was divided into large portions, loaded onto sleds, and dragged back to the village over miles of ice and snow. Each trip lasts for hours, and the heat can be exhausting without proper preparation. But what has kept this hunt going for thousands of years is more than just the need for food. In Inuit culture, the walrus is a complete source of life. Meat for eating, fat for cooking, lighting, and preservation, skin for making rope, small boats and utensils, bones and tusks for crafting traditional tools and objects. No part of the walrus is wasted. A single walrus could feed an entire community for weeks during the winter, a time when no other food was available. However, like all ancient hunts, the practice faced controversy.
Are they coming?
Many conservation groups worry that climate change is shrinking walrus habitat and that the species needs more protection. But Inuit communities argue that they hunt very little and only as much as they need, never overhunting.
Got one slab of meat and blubber. Getting the other side. We're getting coke.
For them, It's not a pastime nor even a trade. It's culture, tradition, and the only way to survive in a land with virtually no other food options.
One of the rear flippers. There we go.
When the hunt is over, the hunters return to their village with pride, but also with humility before nature. The walrus will continue its life cycle, and the following year, the hunt will take place again as an indispensable part of the cycle of survival in the polar region. In a world where a single gust of wind can take a life, true power comes not from tools or skill, but from respect for nature. And that is what keeps the walrus hunt alive, not as an act of violence, but as an ancient pact between man and the icy ocean. In the Arctic, where the sun disappears for months at a time and ice can swallow a human in seconds, the sea cow and the walrus exist as more than just giant creatures of the icy ocean. They are a source of life, a tradition, an inseparable part of the survival story that has lasted for thousands of years of indigenous communities. Hunting sea cow requires absolute patience. Hunting walrus requires strength and courage.